This episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com, Authentic Muay Thai Lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of a Nak Muay. Go check it out. So what do you call it? This is Jonathan over at the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. Today we have Miss Jules Marie Perez. How you doing today, Jules?
I'm lovely. How about yourself?
Doing good. We were just talking a little bit before we started recording here. It's been a while since we talked.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah. So for those that don't know you, you fought amateur Muay Thai and kickboxing for quite a while, right?
Right.
Yeah. So where are you based out of?
Training wise, I'm based out of Central Coast, California, at Paso Robles, and I train at Knockout Boxing Gym and Fitness under Adrel Pepinito.
Okay, awesome. So we're talking a little bit over the past 3 years. You've been making the transition from Muay Thai to strictly boxing. Is that correct?
That is.
Awesome. And what prompted that decision? I'm just curious.
I know it's a question that many of people have.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have to be, when I do answer that, I have to be very careful with the words that I use. So if at any time I'm kind of slow and I pause, it's because I'm trying to find the right words to use.
No worries.
But what it really comes down to when it came to my professional career, I mean, obviously as an amateur, it was a fairly successful career. When it came to my professional career, there was a lot of different elements that were in the mix. And I felt that I really didn't have some solid guidance. I was kind of just here and there, training here, training there. And then after my second pro fight, it just came down to, you know what, Jules, you just need to take some time out and really reflect on what you're doing right now and just go with what your intuition is telling you. I mean, I can't quite put into words all the time what it is I'm feeling, but while I was cross-training and boxing, Adrel had always told me, he's like, you have absolutely everything you need to be a boxer. And if you ever think about it, this is a world that you should be in.
Yeah.
So I just kind of took that and ran with it.
Good. And that kind of comes into Muay Thai. It doesn't have the same building structure of boxing because it's been around the U.S. for so long, and that infrastructure as like a pro fighter from amateur to pro in the U.S. is such like a hard line of like when you do it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just now starting to get a little bit better. It's like, people like you and me, we're early. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just Muay Thai is early in development here in the U.S. So there's a lot of people who have made that transition from Muay Thai and then they're like, shit, there's no way for me to continue as pro. So in Muay Thai, so I'm going to go over boxing.
Right.
So it makes sense, especially for our area that we're in, like you said, in Paso Robles. So it's
so limited.
Yeah, there's not Muay Thai events going on up here. There's boxing events.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like no MMA. It's boxing. That's what it is. So. Hopefully that changes in the future, though. I know we were talking a little bit briefly about that, but let's rewind a little bit to kind of go over your amateur Muay Thai career. You won the U.S. Muay Thai Open, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so was that the East Coast or the West Coast one?
The East Coast one.
East Coast in New York, right? And what weight class was that at, Jules?
It was 125. That's what I weighed in at.
125 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So U.S. Muay Thai Open champion, and then you also had some notable wins. I think the one that most rings in my mind is you have a notable win over one championship fighter, Jackie Buntan, when she was an amateur also. I think it was one of her last amateur fights as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, was that your last amateur fight?
Yeah, actually, you know what? That was my last amateur one.
Yeah. See, look, why did I know this shit? I don't know. That's how my brain works. And then you fought on Push Kick Promotions, correct? That was your pro debut?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you fought against Natalie Morgan, right?
Yes.
Okay, again, I don't know why I remember this stuff, but... So, what was the result of that fight? Was it, did you get the win, or was it... What was it?
That one, I lost by decision.
Lost the 5-round decision, right?
Yes.
Yeah, not bad. Natalie just fought this last weekend out in Denver, Colorado, where they have amateurs and professionals mixed together and fighting.
I know. I noticed that. I was like, wow, I didn't know they actually do that.
That's the first time, and this is where I was saying, like, it's just now kind of getting to the point where there's some different, like, cultural changes happening within Muay Thai and sanctioning that's going to allow a smoother transition, I feel, between professional and amateur. But then you're still getting this big gap. You know, you get the people who've had, 60 amateur fights, and then they went pro, and then they're fighting, like, Glory Kickboxing, all these other the kickboxing and pro Muay Thai fights. And then they're fighting these amateurs who are just, like, 10-fight amateurs coming into this tournament. And it's like, there's a big gap there. And
right.
It's like, should they be in the ring together? Probably not. But I think that gap's going to kind of change with tournaments like that. For you, going into boxing, obviously since you were registered with CSAC as a professional fighter, you couldn't go back to amateur for boxing, correct?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So what have you been doing to transition from Muay Thai to boxing? What has that process looked like for you?
Oh, man, just trying to rewind back to 3 years. I think with the struggle, as far as, in Muay Thai, one would not see me fight and think, oh, it's hard for her to let her hands go. Mm-hmm. So, but people in boxing, it's like, oh, like when I first started transitioning, it's like, oh, you need to learn how to let your hands go. Huh. I would hold and delay my deliveries with my hands. So it was really just getting the conditioning in my upper body and just the automatic response to continue using my hands.
Yeah.
And then also,
back,
and also with the mechanics, like learning the different rhythms of boxing and knowing how to move your head. I didn't move my head whatsoever. And they would always tell me, you get your straight up and down all the time. I'm like, I know it's from Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And so I had to get in the habit of being able to move my head. And so it's really just like, I think the big difference between Muay Thai and boxing is the mechanics, knowing which way to move after a certain hit, and which I love it. It's beautiful. It's like dancing.
Yeah. It's definitely like a lot of people, and you know this, is like it's a big boxing community here, and they see if you're doing Muay Thai, it's like, oh, you're doing it wrong. It's like, no, we're just doing a different sport.
Right, so exactly.
I guess that's kind of what I'm getting into, is like, hey, they have some crossover. I mean, they're both wearing gloves, they're both in a ring, you could knock each other out with a punch. In boxing, the targets are different than Muay Thai. There's some similarities, but they're also very different, like you're talking about rhythm, timing, where you can punch from, all these different things that kind of go into that. What would be like, I guess, what would you say along with like having to change head movement, timing, what has the sparring been like for you? Real quick, while I have your attention, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Hydronic Hydration. Hydronic Hydration is a rehydration formula. It's a oral replacement solution. I know it's a little bit of a tongue twister. You can visit them at Hydronic, that's HYDRONIQUE, hydration.com. You can go check it out. It has 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 400 milligrams of elderberry for your immune system. It's got magnesium, zinc, all the host of electrolytes you're going to need to be able to rehydrate effectively. So the whole premise behind Hydronic was to have a simple hydration solution for healthcare workers during the height of the pandemic, where they couldn't really take off their masks repeatedly to be able to hydrate properly, and they'd have to operate, 10, 12 hours at a time like this. So it's a great solution. I see a lot of benefits in this for fighters, especially during weight cuts or rehydration after weight cuts, or during those long training sessions, during the winter times where people tend to get a little bit sniffled up. It could be a good time to supplement inside of your water, and I highly recommend go check it out. The link is in the show notes, and they do sponsor this podcast, so I just want to give a shout to Hydronic Hydration for supporting the podcast. And if you enjoy this podcast, go check out their website, check out their story, and we'll get right back to it.
The sparring, well, the sparring still is limited for me just because, again, I mean, being a female in this area, there isn't a whole lot of female fighters, let alone boxers. So I'm still in the same spot as I was before, and I'm sparring just the younger, smaller dudes, which I love. It totally works for me. But the sparring is definitely different. In Muay Thai, we would spar without headgear and, just work on technique, and you wouldn't have to worry about taking too many head blows. But in boxing, it's definitely more rigorous. I would never spar in boxing without headgear.
Yeah, for sure. Because but your eyes, your nose, your head, all. Yeah.
There's more intention behind it, and also, I think because when you're boxing, you're always just training your one arsenal, your hands. So even if even when you're throwing, you don't realize that you're throwing hard. Like I throw harder than I did before just because I'm always using my hands now. I'm not using my legs, my knees. I'm not using anything else, just but my hands.
Yeah. Well, kind of going through like that sparring process. This is just totally shooting from the hip here. We actually have a girl. She fought in that tournament, and she's been doing some strict boxing sparring. I know she's a little bit bigger than you, but maybe you guys could link up, or you ladies could link up. And be able to get some more rounds in and stuff too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've sparred. I did have a female I was sparring with, and she was bigger than me too.
Yeah,
but it wasn't bad. We were actually a good match.
Good. Yeah. Well, it gives you like a little bit like a stylistic difference because then you're using more of your movements, speed around people like that too, in like a boxing sense. So, kind of going through balancing your training and stuff too, because you're a mother, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How many kids you got?
Well, I have my daughter, so she's 19. And then my partner's son, son, he's 12.
He's 12. So what's that like, that dynamic of balancing like work, life, and training?
Yeah, I mean, like it's like, I know it's very cliche to say, but when it comes to training and you work full time and you have a family, you have to learn how to train smarter, not harder. As I'm sure many people have heard, like, I know if I have to wake up in the morning and work a full day and then come home to a family, I know I have to be really selective with my energy. And I can't really afford to do these long, rigorous workouts. I have to make them short and sweet. Yeah.
So, and what do you do for your day job?
I am an accounting supervisor at Cal Poly State University. So I oversee the payroll department, the billing department, as well as our travel unit. Damn.
So.
Yeah. I know.
From pro boxing to that to being a family person, I love the mix, and this is something where I want to bring this kind of stuff to light for people because they don't realize that people that are in the ring, they're just everyday people. So, and you have your pro boxing debut coming up. What are the details on that? Is that Chumash, correct?
Yes, it's April 1st at the Chumash Casino.
Chumash Casino Resort. That's in San Ynez, California, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, who are you fighting on that? Who are you matched against?
Her name is Sandra Magayan. And I think she's from, I haven't really done, really looked to see where she's from, but I believe she's from either the Bay Area or NorCal, Sacramento.
And she's coming down for the fight.
Yes.
Is this somebody else who's, is it also pro debuter or somebody's already fought pro before? Do you know?
On the card?
No, for her, your opponent.
Oh, for her. Oh, it's her pro debut.
Pro debut. So good. So you guys are both you ladies making pro debut against each other. So what weight class is this at?
This is at 125.
125. Perfect. So kind of going into that, it was kind of like shorter notice too, right? It's like what, like 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, like I think I found out 4 weeks ago. I'm like, oh shit, man, I need to cut some weight then. Jeez. Because I was training for a Spartan race. So I was eating and I was doing weights. And so like I was trying to be strong, and so I'm like, okay, now I got to cut all that. All right, let's go.
You're not accustomed to it though. So,
yeah.
For Chumash Casino, do you have tickets available for those two?
I do. Yeah, I have some.
So if people wanted to reach out to you and get a hold of you, do you have any sponsors for this or anything like that?
No, I don't. Yeah. Everything just happens so suddenly. I'm just kind of.
Damn it, Jules. Well, for the next one, we gotta change that. You let us know.
I know.
We can help get some wind behind your sails and stuff like that. Well, kind of going into that too for the fight. So you have a pro debut April 1st at Chumash Resort and Casino in San Ynez, California. How can people follow? I guess the best way they can support you is by supporting on social media if they can't make it. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how can people find you?
So my username is G_I_Jules, and it's I like your eyes in your head.
Oh, like G. Oh, that's right. G_I. Yeah. EYE_ Jules. So how do you spell Jules?
JEWELS.
Okay, perfect. So G_IEYE_ Jules, JEWELS. I'll make sure to put this in the show notes for anybody that's listening to this later on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Go check out Jules. She's an amazing person, great fighter. She's a bit of a bully in the ring, though. Remember going around Queens with Mario, finding his stoop, talking about what a bully you are. So.
Oh, I know. My partner and I were just reminiscing about New York. Yeah. How we're all up there and just, roaming the streets. I'm like, I know, I still have Kate's beer can right here that I saved. that Madonna IPA, and I just kind of liked her can. I still have it.
Oh, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. That's talk about like. This is where I was so happy. Like Mario told me about this. Like, dude, you need to get on the podcast. I'm like, oh, love it. I hopefully next time we can get you in person, because we usually do it live from State Street. We do it at the front of the academy here. We're right on the State and Figueroa. So you after this camp, you gotta come by and say hi, and we gotta sit you down and have a post fight podcast.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. Well, kind of going into for this fight camp and stuff like that, short notice, fighting against another pro debuter. Do you guys have like a game plan going into this kind of thing? Do you know if your trainer does, or is it kind of just go out there and treat it like any other fight?
Yes. Well, part of my game plan, which I didn't have last fight, was defense, which I've been working on for the last 3 years. So we're pretty confident in the defense. And who I was training with for the last couple of years in our gym, we worked a lot more in the pocket work, which I wasn't, good at. Just because like in Muay Thai, I did not like clinching.
Yeah.
So being in the pocket wasn't something I wasn't comfortable with. So we got comfortable with that.
Good.
And then, so now we just have to switch back to what I've always been great at too, which is my outside fighting and my footwork.
Nice.
So it's really just been knowing how to transition from the inside and going back on the outside. and being more versatile in there so I can use my strengths and my defense.
Good. So with like the inside, outside fighting, that kind of in between. So when you say inside fighting, explain it for me. Pretend I'm a dummy. So for boxing, inside fighting, obviously Muay Thai, clinching is encouraged, knees, elbows, all that stuff. So inside fighting in boxing is going to be much different because you're pressing up against them, of course.
Yes.
You know, learning how to position your head, how to duck under punches. But like, what are some key things that you feel that you didn't have, that you've added to your arsenal that's in there that some people might not know about in boxing?
For the inside fighting, well, for starters, I mean, I didn't keep my chin down as much as I used to. So it was learning just how to always keep my chin down. And also what I didn't realize on the inside of boxing is you don't necessarily have to see your opponent to know what they're going to throw. You have to learn how to use your body to feel what they're going to be delivering. And just knowing intuitively what the mechanics are. You know, if you throw a left hook, you know, it's a strong likelihood that they're going to throw a left hook. So when you throw that left hook, you got to get in the habit of weaving right under it and expect it as they're throwing it.
Kind of step ahead kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that was something I definitely had to learn and get used to.
Different timing, because the tools are different.
Yes.
Oh, man. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the outcome is for you. You know, we wish you nothing but success on this new venture for you and everything. It's super stoked to see somebody going in. You know, boxing, obviously, hopefully you're getting paid a little bit more than
yeah.
in Muay Thai.
Yeah, that's the difference between boxing and Muay Thai. You know, boxing pays a little bit better.
Oh, yeah. That's something that a lot of people... I'm sure you know this. Like, oh, you must be getting paid a lot. It's like, dude, I got paid $800 to go get elbowed in the face. You're like, what? Like, and the medicals cost $1,200. They're like, what? How does that make sense? I know. You're like, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
I know it doesn't.
No. Well, super stoked to hear about that. So April 1st, Chumash Resort Casino for World Fighting Championship, correct? WFC
yes.
For Matt. Awesome. So hit up G_IEYE_Jules over on Instagram. Get your tickets April 1st at Chumash Casino and Resort. It's going to be a banging fight. If Jules fights anyway like she did before, I'm just going to say it's going to be a fucking banger, and you guys are not going to want to miss it. So go check it out. She's a badass fighter. From the Central Coast, so we definitely need more women fighters, and I can get behind you 100%, Jules. I appreciate you.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, that's it today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys are listening on iTunes, please go leave a review. It means the world to me if you enjoy the content, if you like hearing about all the stuff that has to do with Muay Thai and what we're doing.